If I would ask you, who is the person who knows everything about you? And I mean absolutely everything. Not only where are you now and what are you doing, but where were you 2 years ago precisely at this time and what you were doing? The answer is probably no one, because even you don't remember what you were doing, for example, on 21st of October of 2016 at around 3 p.m. Unfortunately, someone knows. If you go to Google Maps timeline, you will find that out. In fact, Google will tell you which pictures you took on that day and where exactly. How did you move from one place to another? Were you walking, took a bus, or you were driving? But that's not the only thing that Google knows. If you go to My Activity, Google will tell you everything you did on any particular day, which websites you visited, which videos you have watched. It even records your voice to recognize it better. It knows what news are you interested in, which apps do you use, and much more. Google doesn't really hide that, but it also isn't putting that forward for us to see it. So I won't be surprised if most of you aren't aware of that. Most of you know that Google knows what you buy online, but the company took the extra mile to follow your offline purchases if you use Google Pay. Now the company can track your offline purchases and compare them to their online ads and figure out if their ad has affected your decision to buy a particular product, or which ads to present to you based on your offline purchases. The problem is that even if you don't use Google Chrome, YouTube or Gmail, you're still under Google's radar because you might be using an Android. And to improve users' experience, Google needs to analyze your behavior, so even when you're using a third-party app, you're still being followed. You might not be worried because Google just tracks your actions. It doesn't know, for example, what's on your mind or what exactly are you thinking about. Unfortunately, it's working hard to get there, and it's almost there. You probably have realized that voice assistants are getting better and better. If you're an iPhone user, you don't know what I'm talking about, so just trust me on this one. And in a few years or so, we will probably rely on them more heavily. Why would you pick up your phone and type when you can find that out by simply asking Google while your phone is still in your pocket? If voice assistants would become so good, why would you need a smartphone in the first place? Wouldn't it be smarter to have a screen in front of you all the time, such as smart glasses? Especially with the rise of virtual and augmented reality, it will be much more comfortable to turn your thoughts and imaginations into reality through smart glasses. Of course, Google has already tried that out and it didn't go well. However, the technology today is far more superior than it was 7 years ago, for example. I mean, Google's AI now can already make a call on behalf of you and act as a real secretary.
So how can I help you?
Hi, I'm calling to book a women's haircut for a client. I'm looking for something on May 3rd.
Sure, give me 1 second. Sure, what time are you looking for around?
At 12 p.m.
In the next couple of years, these 3 technologies will only get better and better, which means there will be a stronger reason to come up with something like smart glasses, especially when smartphones are reaching their peak. And that's how Google will get into your mind. If now they can track what you search and watch online, soon they will have an access to your thoughts and imagination. Waymo is a self-driving technology that Google has been developing for years. And once the world starts shifting to self-driving cars, the traditional auto manufacturers will need an advanced self-driving software and a voice assistant. And Google is the perfect company to provide them with that, exactly as it licensed Android to all smartphone manufacturers. There are multiple other technologies that Google has already developed or still working on to collect more data about you to predict your actions more accurately. That's probably why Elon Musk is so worried about Google. In order to understand why Google is behaving in such a way, we have to look at the situation from Google's perspective. Google is a business whose purpose is to make money like any other business. So when the internet was invented, tech companies emerged, and for them to survive, they had to come up with a way to make money. But we as consumers weren't willing to pay for their services, so they had to come up with another business model. They would let us use their services for free in exchange for our data that they would later on use to create targeted ads. In other words, You're not the customer, even if you feel like you are. You are the product that Google is selling to advertisers. Just ask yourself, are you ready to pay to use Google, Gmail, YouTube, Google Assistant, Google Maps, and everything else that Google provides for free? If the answer is no, then we can't really blame Google for anything. This video wasn't meant to scare you, but rather help you to understand how tech companies work, what are they trying to do, and where are we headed to. Whether you think that's good or bad, I will leave that for you to decide. You can let me know in the comments below. Anyways, hit that like button and subscribe if you have enjoyed this video. And if you want to support us to make more similar videos, check out our Patreon page. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.